How much money would you need to have in your bank account in order to feel financially secure? Well, believe it or not, there's been some research done on this, and there is actually a very specific number. And that number might be lower than you think. So before we start to talk about financial security, we need to actually define it. So what does it really mean to be financially secure? Well, a lot of people think that in order to have real financial security, they need to have enough money in their bank account so they're set for life, right? This is probably why a lot of people enter the lottery, because you think, well, if I win this huge cash windfall, I'll never have to work again. Now, in the UK, the average life cost for a human being is just over £1.5 million, which rather alarmingly is about £150,000 less than the average lifetime earnings of someone living in the UK. Probably explains why there's a lot of debt in this country, right? But obviously you don't need 1.5 million if you have the average life cost in the UK, because you've already lived some of your life. So you could probably take the average life expectancy, which is about mid-80s, divide that 1.5 million by that max age, let's say 85, and you could somehow guess how much money you would need in the bank to pay for the rest of your life. Now, this definition of financial security is definitely a good one, but do you really need enough money in the bank to pay for the whole of the rest of your life in order to feel financially secure? Well, again, the studies say no. In fact, a lot of the research that's been conducted on this topic suggests that to feel financially secure, you need enough of a buffer to be able to weather the storms and any rough patches that might happen in your financial situation. Because at the end of the day, realistically, even if you did get enough money to pay for the rest of your whole life, you probably will continue to do some form of work. Right? Trust me, the amount of times I've seen somebody retire or have enough cash to retire at a very, very young age and then basically mess around and do nothing for a couple of months and then get bored and go back to working. It pretty much happens every single time, although it is an amazing luxury to be in that kind of situation. But the chances are you will continue to work in some capacity. So rather than trying to pay for the whole rest of your life, a better strategy could be to just be able to cope if something goes slightly wrong with your current method of employment. Now, to put that into perspective, we're looking more of a buffer for about 3 to 6 months of your lifestyle expenses. Now, if the average monthly earnings in the UK is around about £3,250 a month, 3 months of earnings would be around about £9,750, and 6 months would be around £19,500. So is that the number you need in order to feel financially secure? Well, the answer is actually no. Believe it or not, it's actually less than that. Now, before I reveal what the actual number is, why don't we talk about ways to actually get more savings into your bank account so you can feel more financially secure, whatever your number could be. So how do you do it? How do you actually get more savings? Well, there's 2 ways. Way number 1, which is the most boring of the 2, is to lower expenses, right? Actually print out your bank statement and begin to understand where your money is actually being spent every day, every week, every month. What are those big purchases that happen maybe once a quarter? What are those little things that all add up to big amounts that just drain your income every month? And you can start to do an audit and really measure the ROI on each line of spending. I'm spending money on this thing. Do I need it? Does it make me happy? Can I eliminate it? And if I did, would the gain from having more in my savings make me happier than whatever it is I'm spending the money on? we generally don't take enough time to do stuff like this, and this can really end up with your finances being a little sloppy and you having less spare money simply because you haven't been on top of it recently. Way number 2 to increase your amount of savings is way more fun, and it's to increase your earnings, right? Rather than just cutting back until you're basically living in like a cardboard box eating instant noodles all the time, figure out a way to actually increase the income so you can have an enjoyable life, do the things you want to do, but still have spare money. Now, if you want some help to actually get a business off the ground, there's a link in the description for my live masterclass where I'm going to show you how to build an Amazon business using something called the middleman method, which is where rather than you doing all the work and all the manual labor yourself, you can actually get other people to build the Amazon business for you in the same way that Ray Kroc built McDonald's. He didn't flip the burgers, he didn't even run the restaurants. Actually, he got other people to make the money for him. He made money 3 ways. Number 1, charging an upfront fee for the franchise, so the new restaurant owner would pay them. Number 2, taking a percentage of the restaurant's earnings, right, residuals forever. And number 3, he would actually buy the land the restaurant was going to be built on, and he would charge the franchisee rent. Right, so he made money 3 ways without running a restaurant. Imagine if you could run an Amazon business in the same way. I'm going to show you how to do that. So click the link in the description if you want to get signed up. And if you already have a business which is doing okay, let's say it's making 5K a month or more, you might be a great fit for my Quantum Mastermind. And I'll help you grow it from 5K a month to 10 to 20 to 30 to 100K a month or more. There's an application form in the description for that as well. Now, the thing we're really aiming to do to get more financial security here, whether we're lowering expenses or increasing our income, is to increase what I call the freedom gap, right? The gap between the amount it costs you to live and the amount of money coming in. Because whatever's left is spare money, which can go to savings, investments, retirements, and all those spaces in your bank and your financial life that make you feel way more secure about the future. So, back to that number. How much do you actually need to earn according to science in order to feel financially secure? Well, researchers from the University of Bristol's Personal Finance Research Centre tracked 7,000 people's personal finance over a 10-year period. They realised that households that have an emergency fund of £2,000 or more are 75% less likely to fall behind on household bills than households with a £200 emergency fund or less. In other words, if you just have £2,000 put aside that you don't touch for emergencies, you're 4 times more likely to be financially secure than anybody else who doesn't have a fund of that size. Now, of course, £2,000 isn't going to completely save you if you lose your job, if you have loads of unexpected bills, loads of unexpected debt, right? But it's something about the psychology of having that money put away, and also something about the habits of the types of people who are building an emergency fund that puts them in a much better position. Because at the end of the day, if you are saving, if you are putting money aside, you must be looking at your finances, taking it a little bit more seriously, and not letting things completely get out of whack. In fact, Andrew Gall from the Resolution Foundation says that the research has demonstrated even small regular savings, such as £10 a month, will build resilience over time and improve people's well-being. So the point is here that if you are saving basically anything, you will be in a dramatically better financial situation than if you don't do it at all. So have a think about this. Is there anything you can do to build your emergency fund this month? Cut back those expenses, earn a little bit more money, increase your freedom gap, get more put away so you have a buffer to weather any kind of storm. Have a think about it. Could genuinely improve your stress levels, well-being, and make life a little bit easier. So I hope you found this video useful. Hit subscribe, hit like, leave a comment if you want more content like this. I've got plenty more coming up. And yeah, if you want to build an Amazon business, click the link in the description, sign up for my live masterclass. If you have a business now and it's like a side hustle and it's doing okay in terms of revenue, but it's not profitable enough and you want to scale it, then join my mastermind. Click the link in the description to apply, and I'll catch you very soon.